so many new pieces to this IU football team.
To me, that's going to set the tone on how you get ready for games on Saturday in the fall.
I would put that Indiana room up against anybody else in the conference, and that's something that we typically don't even come close to saying.
If you want to get total sickos committee about it, there's a position battle at long snapper too.
This is the Hoosier Huddle Podcast, part of the College Huddle Podcast Network.
And welcome in. Very celebratory night last night. Indiana knocks off Ohio State 13-10 in probably one of the best games in Big Ten championship history. Lots of defense, some awesome plays on offense, but we'll get down here with the Big Ten, with the college football playoff. IU is number one in the AP poll. I would expect IU to be number one in the college football playoff selection and go to the Rose Bowl. And we'll see who they play. They would play, I believe, the 8-9 game. So come in, leave your comments, and we'll get through questions. We could start talking about the game as well. Hopefully, we could have some guests come on, and we'll get down to it. So I'll put this question to the crowd. What did you all think about last night? How does it feel to be number one? Feels pretty good, but as Sig said, it doesn't count until the end of the season, right? So it feels really good. I can't imagine how the players and coaches feel, but as somebody who started this site covering just football, and excuse my 1-year-old, he's pretty excited as well. But to start a football-only site and have it hit this level, it's kind of unbelievable, but kind of believable at the same time. But the way that game went, it wasn't a fluke. I said it in my wrap and reaction. They belonged on the same field with Ohio State. They knew they belonged on the same field with Ohio State, no matter what the outside people said. They played their brand of football. Now, there were mistakes that you didn't normally see. You saw Nico miss a field goal from within 40 yards. You had some penalties, which are tough. You had the interception and all that stuff. So we're going to bring the little man on. He is excited. So he has seen 24 Indiana victories. So he's the reason. But we're going to hand them off for lunch. Indiana played their game, and that's something we talked about that they needed to do. Not like last year where they kind of got off their game and the mistakes, and the middle eight was a big reason why Indiana won. It didn't start very well. Everybody was holding their breath when Fernando Mendoza went down on the first play or the first drive or the second play, whatever it was. But man, he's a tough dude. He made some big time throws to Charlie Becker, to Elijah Surratt, and it was just a special game. Yeah, I bet Kirkwood was wild last night. Hopefully all the fish are still in the fountains. Indianapolis was wild last night too. I thought at the beginning of the game, the crowd was 60-40 IU. That's what, we discussed in the radio booth. As the game went on, I thought it was 70-30. Then when the game was over and all the Ohio State fans left, it might have been 80-20 or at least 75-25 IU fans. The fans showed up in force. They paid the price for the tickets, which were absurdly expensive. But it's something that hasn't happened in a long time. They were thinking ahead. They removed the fish on Friday. It's also winter and it's cold and that fountain's not going. So, but I thought the play of the game probably was Julian Sand being ruled down short of the first down. But there are a couple other wild swings in that game. And I thought the middle eight, where Indiana kicks the field goal to go 10, make it 10-6. Ohio State gets the ball with about 2.5 minutes left in the half. They drive a little bit, but IU makes them punt. They take the ball into the half. Ohio State gets the second half kickoff. Indiana stops them and then goes down and scores a touchdown to take the lead. And really, that was the game-winning points right there. So, last year, the middle eight was the middle eight where you had the punt, drop, snap, the punt return, and all that stuff. But, man, they did. Yeah, the defense played extraordinarily well. I know Jeremiah Smith had 144 yards, but D'Angelo Pons was all over him last night. Nine tackles, running with him down the field. Jeremiah Smith's going to make his plays because he's an all-universe receiver. But Pons is also an all-universe defensive back, and that's what you got to do. That's the mentality of a good defensive back and a good corner is, hey, you might beat me once or twice, but I'm going to get you the rest of the time. And he did that. Thought Jamari Sharp played very well. The entire defense played well. Tucker was awesome last night. We talked about that pregame as well. And then we're getting ready to do the selection show here as they have Harry Lyles Jr. in Bloomington is live in Bloomington. So it's on ESPN now. If you want to watch it, tune into that. Obviously can't broadcast it on the thing, but I'll announce it as it goes. But yeah, Tyree Tucker was great. Mario Landino was great. Stephen Daly was great. The entire defense. Isaiah Jones is in the backfield all night. Elijah Hardy had the biggest play on defense with the broken up pass that led to an Ohio State missed field goal, which, man, to me, that's Ryan Day got out coached there. 4th and 1 from the 10, and maybe you're having flashbacks to the 4th and 1 they didn't get down in the third quarter. But kicking a field goal there for the tie is just so not aggressive and disappointing for Ohio State fans. But, he missed it, 29-yard field goal or 27-yard field goal. And then the play of the game, at 3rd and 6, own end of the field, under 2 minutes left, and you throw the ball. 33-yard pass from Mendoza to Charlie Becker. Charlie Becker was awesome last night. Omar Cooper goes down early, and Charlie Becker's filled in for each of the starting receivers, all year. When Elijah Surratt went down, he stepped up with the big game at Penn State. When E.J. Williams is out at Purdue, he stepped in and started. He had another big game against Wisconsin, and then he had his third 100-yard game last night. Kind of filling in that role for EJ and then filling in for Omar Cooper. So, he was kind of a gimme for breakout star of the year at the beginning of the year. But, man, he could play, and then he had the great chant, the OHFU, at the end of the game, which is fantastic. So let's get an update on the playoff reveal show. Let's see. This is my least favorite television show in the history of sports selection shows. And usually it's because IU's playing for, a middle tier bowl game and they don't get to those until like 4:00. But it's so lucky for, look, listen, you're going to make me curse on YouTube Live. The luck is a product of preparation and hard work. They put themselves in the position to win. They're not fraudulent. They're 13-0. They rose the challenge on every time. So if you want to call them fraudulent, whatever, man. It must be an easier world to go through if you're a stupid person. yeah, they got lucky and fraudulent. You could go back to Ohio. But so here's the thing with the college football playoff too. Duke won in overtime last night. What happens there? Does Notre Dame get left out? Does Miami get left out? Does Alabama, who looked awful last night, get dropped down and drop out since they were ninth coming into this week? And that game wasn't close. It was 21-0 in midway through the fourth quarter. And then Alabama scored and Georgia scored to make it 28-7. Um, how many group of five teams get in? And then if you're looking at IU, who's playing that 8-9 game is the one to keep an eye on. And then does Ohio State drop under 2? I don't think so. I thought in a game that was 13-10, I didn't think either team who lost they shouldn't have dropped IU if they lost, and Ohio State's not going to drop past 2. So let's see. Coming up next, probably after 4 more commercial breaks, is exclusive reveal of the college football playoff bracket or teams. So we'll see. But yeah, if you come in with the wrong energy today, I'm gonna call you out. But yeah, let's get some questions, more questions about the game. Got about 100 people in here, and we'll get some more. So we'll see. Hopefully, this is not one of these 4-hour selection shows, and they get this done. Did anybody go to the game last night? Yeah, I don't. That's a good way to put it. A tale of two halves. Indiana. I said this. I actually filled in a little bit because it's an extended halftime, so I filled in with John Herrick on the radio last night. So hopefully some people tuned in. But yeah, Indiana. They had one drive stop at their own 49. They had 3 drives inside Ohio State territory and came away with 2 field goals. There were plenty of missed opportunities for IU. They had the missed field goal. You get a pick that gets returned inside the 25. You only get 3 out of it, which kind of, reminds you of what Michigan did last week against Ohio State, where they got, the 2 early scores, but it's still just 6 points. And it was, it was kind of a little flashbacky there. But the defense held them down, and there were missed opportunities in the first half for Ohio State too. But the touchdown that IU gave up, it was not pass interference. The rules are that if the pass is behind the line of scrimmage, you could go and hit the guy. It's a great play by Ohio State. It was a terrible play call and terrible throw. But that, you kind of give them 7 points there, especially with the penalty that puts them down inside the 8 or so. So it was, that was a missed opportunity too. Then second half, you're right. Ohio State, they missed the field goal at the end of the game to tie it. They had, multiple red zone trips. They had the 4th down stop where Sands' knee hit the ground short of the first down. And they moved the ball well in the second half. I mean, IU moved the ball well too. I think IU was just outgained by, let's see, they were outgained. It wasn't by much, if at all. Second half, it was 20 yards. Ohio State had 194 yards. IU had 114. Where the big difference was in time of possession. Ohio State chewed up the clock for 18 minutes and 37 seconds. IU had it for 11:19. That math ain't mathin', but that's what the official stats say. So let's Let's check in on this reveal. They're still talking. Nick Saban's wearing his Alabama blazer, probably saying it's another quality loss for the SEC. From our friends over at the Ohio podcast, if you haven't listened to them, they do a awesome job. They always have me on as a guest, and super respectful, knowledgeable Ohio State people, which is rare to find. So, yeah, it was a heck of a game last night, and the IU deserves it. So let's see. They're still just yapping. No, nobody's yapping. They're just showing pictures of people live in different places. Now Marty Smith is going to talk about how Alabama is the only FBS team in the top 10 of FPI, SOS, and SOR. Okay. Best win of the season on the road at UGA. Okay. And then DeBoer's quote is, "We played, they didn't." Okay. So I guess this is where it's going to get tricky and all the drama is. Alabama played an unnecessary game. It is an extra game. I think a lot of it's unnecessary. If they get dinged and fall out of the playoff, there are rumors that the SEC would just get rid of the championship game because Alabama would be in if they didn't play. So we'll see what the committee does. That could get really, really interesting. Did Georgia look good or Alabama really bad? Alabama, they didn't play well. They're a good team. They're not a great team. And they're very one-dimensional on offense. I think they had negative 3 yards rushing on the day last night. And Georgia just dominated. 21-0 and 28-7 final. Alabama didn't do anything. They're been inconsistent all year. And, there were rumors that Kalen DeBoer was going to go to Penn State, especially if they lost to Auburn last week. So we'll see. It's not the Saban Alabama teams where they're just destroying people. And then maybe one game they just have a bad game and get beat by one. They're getting physically beat. All right. Now who do we have from Miami? Feeling confident. Chris Budden, Miami Report. Feeling confident after yesterday's results. Head-to-head win versus Notre Dame should not be a debate. She's right. Should not be a debate. I know people are like, hey, Notre Dame looks better at the end of the year. Miami lost 2 games in the middle of the year on the road. It's one at home, one on the road. The head-to-head has to matter. It's a 12-game season. It has to matter. Like, why bother playing the games if the head-to-head doesn't matter? And they're right next to each other. It's not like, oh, Miami's 9-3 or 8-4 and they beat Notre Dame, or Notre Dame's only loss and they're so far apart. So we'll see. Does JMU get in? It is, again, this is another drama with the committee. Are you going to leave the ACC out? Whether that's Miami or the champion Duke. Duke is a 5-loss conference champion. I don't see how you could put them in. And the ACC is not guaranteed a spot. It's the 5 highest rated conference champions. So does a Duke overtime win against Virginia jump them over Tulane or JMU in the rankings? I don't think so. Let me check the AP poll and how people voted, but I don't think so. So it's CFP selection principles: strength of schedule, head-to-head competition, comparative outcomes at common opponents without incentivizing margin of victory, unavailability of key players and coaches that may have affected past performance or will likely affect postseason performance. That is definitely something to look at and see. They but they have to hold true to it. They haven't yet. So we'll see. I give a lot of crap to college basketball in their season, but man, their selection show is so much better. Like so much better. We would have been almost done by now, at least in the first half hour. So, in the AP poll, JMU is ranked 19th, Tulane 17th. Duke is not ranked. They're in others receiving votes with 18 behind Houston, Iowa, Tennessee, New Mexico. And Boise State's right there too at 16. They might be out of luck. The 9, 10, 11 of Notre Dame, Miami, Alabama, that cut line is probably at the 10 spot. I don't see how you could put Notre Dame over Miami when, yes, it was the first game of the season, but they beat them head to head. If they let it, this could be a transformative ranking on how the CFP goes. It could change the entire game and how people schedule in the future or play conference championship games and things like that. Again, they're flashing the graphic next, exclusive playoff reveal. They did that 10 minutes ago. So keep sending in questions. Got about 200 people in here. Fun night last night. Did anybody go to Indianapolis last night? I know Hooperazzi said Kirkwood was wild, which I would expect. Especially, upstairs pub. Heartwork Brewing had looked packed and had their watch party as well. So we'll see. It is still Reese Davis talking ahead of their Dinich. Here we go. I think we got something. We're going to head into a commercial break with the blank bracket. So as we go to commercial, I'll put this question to the group. Who do you want IU to play, or who do you want IU to kind of avoid? I know, we're not scared of everybody or anybody. We could beat anybody, and IU's proved that. But who do you not want to see in the first round? Or the quarterfinals, sorry. The quarterfinals, because IU earned that bye week, the bye into the quarterfinals. Coaches is a solid place. It closes too early, though. That was always when we went out as students. It was new. And that was like if you wanted a chill drink to kind of kick off the night and then work your way down Kirkwood, that was the place to go to. And they usually had good food deals. But yeah, coaches was a good spot. It'd be nice to play Notre Dame. I think to get to go on the Kirk Zugnetti revenge tour, which he's done for the most part with Ohio State. I don't know if one game is a revenge tour, but it's he got the revenge on Ohio State this year, and then we'll see what happens. Notre Dame probably scares me the most because of their running game, and their defense is not as good as it was last year, and IU shouldn't be scared of them, especially going out west. The travel is the same for both teams. I do not want to face Oregon. I also don't want to hear their fan base for a week, and it'll be more than a week. It'd be like a week and a half. It'd be like a month. First of all, they haven't shut up since last year. All season long, they've been in my mentions on X. They've been on my mentions on TikTok, whatever. They've DM'd me. It's been more than a week. But yeah, they're just annoying. they think they're God's gift to football. Now, look, I appreciate them being an independent since I am kind of a traditionalist, but it's like, dude, you lost 2 games and then played nobody. So I would not be upset if they get left out. Would not be upset at all. All right, still in a commercial break on ESPN. So I would assume that the brackets are coming up next or after another 2 commercial breaks. Who would you rather face, Oklahoma or Miami? I'm fine with either one. I think Oklahoma's defense is way better than Miami's. Oklahoma's offense is not as good as Miami's offense, but you're looking at Carson Beck in a big game. You know, Indiana's defense doesn't get enough credit to where, like, oh, they have an elite Ohio State has an elite offense. IU shut them down for the most part. So they got after the quarterback. They get they get their turnovers and all that stuff. So I'd rather face Oklahoma. I think that would be a cooler game, but Miami's fine with either one. Did Mendoza seal the deal for the Heisman? Probably. He made some big time throws there, like big time throws, down the field to Surratt with the back shoulder. You had Charlie Becker down the middle of the field. The throw to Riley Nokowski on 4th down on like 4th and what was it, 3 or 4, where he's rolling the other way and then throws it across the field. It's a big time throw. He's also shown guts. Coming back from that hit early on where it looked like he died. But I get people think he's dorky. He is dorky. I mean, he started his playoff, pregame preview presser saying, "Hi, I'm Fernando Mendoza. I'm the quarterback at Indiana." It's like, yeah, dude, we know who you are. It's just not a job interview. But that's what makes him great too. He's kind of like Andrew Luck that way. Who replaced Omar? Give us the background. It looked like Omar had a leg injury when they threw that ball deep. Didn't get the pass interference call. So, all right, here we go. Playoff selection. I'll get to that. Indiana's no question number 1. So they are number 1. Given Indiana highlights. There's Mendoza, Charlie Becker, Julian Sand getting crushed by Isaiah Jones, Mendoza, Charlie Becker, and raising the trophy. So I used the number 1 seed. No shock there. We'll see if I would assume that Georgia would be the number 2 seed as the SEC champion. Ohio State is the number 2 seed. Wow. Okay. Well, that guarantees that Indiana won't face them until the national championship again. I like that move. If a lot of talk was between Indiana and Ohio State being the 2 best teams. What I don't like about the playoff is that a lot of times those matchups get played in like the quarterfinals. Like Oregon, Ohio State was like the best game on paper going into playoffs. Now Ohio State blew them out of the water, but that could have been a national title game in the quarterfinals, which I think that's the issue with playing a playoff, is that you get some of these upsets and matchups that you think could be a national title matchup get played early on in the tournament, and it just kind of takes away from it a little bit. But that's the nature of the playoffs. So here we go. 3 seed. 3 seed is Georgia. 3 seed is Georgia. So that's interesting There's no SEC bias in this. No SEC bias in this ranking right now. The SEC title champion is behind the runner-up in the Big Ten. So a lot of respect for the Big Ten. I thought it would be flipped. I thought Georgia would be 2, Ohio State would be 3. So kind of a surprise there. And then the 4 seed, is Texas Tech. So your 1 through 4 seeds, Indiana's number 4, or Indiana's number 1, Ohio State's number 2, Georgia's number 3, and Texas Tech is number 4. So let's see what the rest of the playoff looks like. Who replaced Omar? Charlie Becker replaced Omar, and then they used E.J. Williams a little bit. Oregon gets the 5 seed. They feed into the Texas Tech quarterfinals at 11-1. We'll see who they play. But back up to Omar Cooper. It looked like he got hurt on that long pass that no pass interference is called. And then probably a calf issue. He went back to the locker room, came back, still in uniform. Was moving okay, not moving great. So we hopefully get more this week on him. But they used Becker. E.J. Williams filled in. And then they used LeBron Bond played. Jonathan Brady played. And Davion Chandler was in there. So it was kind of a committee. But if you were going 1 for 1, it was Becker started for E.J. Williams, and then when Cooper went out, Becker filled in for Cooper, and they went by committee with E.J. Williams' position. Ole Miss at the 6. So Ole Miss will feed into the Georgia quarterfinal. So that criteria of a coach leaving affecting where they land in the playoff didn't really come into play. They're still talking about Ole Miss. Texas A&M at 7. So Texas A&M will feed into the Ohio State quarterfinal. And here we'll get number 8 here shortly. We'll see one of the teams that Indiana might play. All right, here we go with number 8 coming up. Brady finished with, give me a second here. Brady finished with 2 catches for 20 yards. All right, next seed coming up. Number 8, it's Oklahoma. I think they're at number 8. So Indiana would face the winner of Oklahoma. And then we'll wait on the number 9 seed. This is where Miami, Notre Dame, Alabama come in. I doubt they put Alabama at 9. They came into the weekend at 9. They've already lost to Oklahoma. I think it'd be a disservice to have a rematch in the first round when they just played a few weeks ago. So they're giving the resume comparisons between 9, 10, and 12. BYU is was at number 11. They got their butts kicked against Texas Tech. So they're probably on the outside looking in. This might be OU Notre Dame. Let's see. Number 9. Waiting for commercial break now. Alabama. Wow. Okay. So Indiana will play the winner of Oklahoma, Alabama. Alabama did not get punished. I like that matchup too. Alabama did not get punished for losing the SEC title game. So they're a 3-loss SEC team. This probably is not good for Notre Dame or Miami. Well, we'll see. We will see. That's bad news if you're an Irish fan. Like that's the first wow of the committee here. Like that one somebody made a choice to keep Alabama in because there was an argument to put them out, but there's a lot of far-reaching arguments that would, do you want to go down that slippery slope? Do you want to go down that slippery slope of punishing a conference title game participant for losing? Because if you lose it, for my thoughts on the conference title game, a lot of people make a lot of money. And if the SEC doesn't play theirs, Miami coming in at number 10, they will play Texas A&M. So call that the Notre Dame Bowl. I think Notre Dame's going to be left out because you still have the conference, the conference champions. Yeah, Notre Dame is out. So Uberazzi, we'll probably hear from them, but it'll be a lot more crying than trash talking. So we'll see here. It got real interesting with Alabama at 9. I think they made a choice, and a choice based on money, because if the SEC got rid of their championship game, a lot of people are losing a lot of checks. So we'll see. That's a good matchup for IU. And then I like Miami. I mean, here's the problem with the playoff is that they kind of pigeonhole themselves with this Tuesday night show all year. Because the argument could be made, Miami and Notre Dame didn't play this week. Nothing changed between them this week. So why was Notre Dame ahead of them last week and now behind them this week? And so, and I can't believe I'm defending Notre Dame here. Like I get it, but Notre Dame should always have been behind Miami, and they weren't. It's starting to make a lot of people mad. They should have had Miami ahead of Notre Dame the entire time. Tulane, there, catch that ticket. Tulane 11 rematch with Ole Miss. Another dumb. Like I don't understand why you don't need a 12-team playoff. Like these teams played already. Like Tulane deserves to be in, but there should only be the final show. There shouldn't be every Tuesday night because you pigeonhole yourself. Like nothing changed between Miami and Notre Dame this week. Nothing. And Miami jumps Notre Dame. So James Madison is going to be 12. Yep. So they'll go play at Oregon. So here's the bracket. Let's see if we could screen grab it real quick. Maybe not. We'll get it here in a second. So 2 group of 5s are in at 11 and 12. I don't like having a rematch of a game from the regular season. You played it already. Why bother? Again, Miami should have always been over Notre Dame. But somehow this week, when none of them play, they that's when they decide to flip them. It makes no sense. No sense. So let's see. I'll get the bracket up here shortly. And everybody see, let me get this Hoosier Huddle podcast thing out of the way. Yeah, it's not the best. That's a lot of people are going to be talking for a lot of there we go. So Indiana's the 1 seed. They'll play the winner of Oklahoma, Alabama in the Rose Bowl. The 2 seed is Ohio State. They'll play the winner of Texas A&M, Miami. Georgia's the 3 seed. Will play the winner of the rematch between Ole Miss and Tulane. And then Texas Tech is the 4 seed. They'll play the winner of JMU at Oregon. So you get some cool venues to host playoff games. Texas A&M, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, and Oregon. And then, people go into those neutral site games in the quarterfinals. So that's that. We'll see what are people's reactions. We'll send that graphic out to you. How are we feeling? Because there's a lot of questions. We'll see what they say. We'll see what Kirk Cignetti says this afternoon. But if you're an IU fan, go get ready. Face Alabama or Oklahoma. I mean, they did leave. I mean, it came down to Miami beating Notre Dame. The problem is that Miami was behind Notre Dame coming into this week, and that game happened in August. So we'll see. They need to change. They need to change how they select the teams. That's the bottom line. It's either get rid of the made for TV nonsense on Tuesdays, which is whatever. We get credit content off of it too. But the whole reveal rage bait thing every Tuesday is come back to bite them. Because if you didn't do that, then you really don't have a problem for Miami over Notre Dame. So, we'll get final questions in here, and then I got to get down to Bloomington and get ready for the rest of the day. All right. Thanks, guys, for joining us. Thanks for logging on. Enjoy it. Go watch some Oklahoma, Alabama tape for another rematch. 2 rematches in the first round that had already been settled. So, hopefully they don't kill the regular season, because that's what makes this sport special. All right. Thanks for joining us, guys.